Welcome back, everyone, to the Timeless Broadcast Project on the Timeless Overwatch channel. We've got a very exciting game for you being doublecast from both perspectives, from the Timeless perspective and from the Rift perspective. And, well, those are our two teams and two very different stories. You got Rift and you got Timeless, and Rift rising from Open Division, the victor of NA Open Division with a few roster tweaks, and Timeless, a bit of a long-standing name, not a very long-standing name, but a successful name, who've fallen on some hard times.
It is very unfortunate the Rift Timeless fell into, and maybe the team Rift can take advantage of this. Rift themselves coming fresh off of a win against Good Boys, and before that, a win against Worldwide, the team that we just saw Timeless lose to with a close 3-2, but a loss nonetheless. And that is their 5th loss in a row. You know, Timeless absolutely struggling. Rift, just before, however, they were on a 6-loss streak, and they came out of that. So it's always possible Timeless can get out of this slump. However, Timeless, even if they get out of this slump right now, there is still an 81.5% chance that they are relegated back to Open Division. Which, I mean, that's just a scary statistic.
An absolutely terrifying statistic. 81.5% chance. And we got from one of the other casters a sheet on the playoff chances. For Timeless, if they win all 3, they would have secured it. If they win 2 out of 3, they need Strix to lose 1, Rift, Strix, and Worldwide to lose 1. It doesn't matter what games are lost, but they need a lot of things to go their way. And if they only win once, if they lose it here, they need, well, they can't even do it. They need just something incredible here. There's a lot that needs to go right for Timeless to win, and they have lost control of their destiny. So they need to start rooting for some other teams. Otherwise, their contender season might be cut short.
And although they don't quite have a good of a hold on the control of, I'm trying to force it. We're going to Control. We're going to Busan.
Good job. You did it.
But this is truly a matchup I am so excited for, K-Wing. So many of these Rift players, not only have I played with, but playing, against them in Open Division and seeing them rise to the top. Astranex absolutely dominating for such a long period of time. Same with Chime, Yamitra, and then Abyss, someone who dominated top Open Divisions for such a long time. X10, someone who's a bit newer to this scene, but still absolutely amazing. And then Timeless, so many, both new and old, as immediately into this fight. The middle side is taken on this left side. You're going to be forcing Abyss actually possibly out. Not sure if they can get a TP, but they are able to TP back. That was close, almost an escape, but no TP, and they've gotten stuck in enemy lines now. And that's so unfortunate, as Abyss actually teleported to the invisible Chime and not able to escape. A bit of an interesting flank, perhaps a bit too forced, just like my jokes. But Rift having the advantage. Rift going for the cap. Although they're going for the cap, Yamitra's dead. There are no supports online for Rift, as now Timeless are trying to cap the point. They are contesting it. Astranex falls so low. Abyss falls again. And that's going to be the first fight for Timeless.
Yeah, it was a valiant effort coming in from Rift, trying to stay alive, and Abyss goes in to try and keep Astranex alive, but can't do it, just gets targeted out. There's not enough cover around to keep them up. And so Rift falls down first, and Timeless, they have their opportunity to start rolling through and start some amount of momentum in this game.
Still Pummy in for, instead of Scuffed, excuse me, perhaps a strategic change, which could be what the team has needed. They were in for the previous game as well, but it didn't quite go their way. Abyss contesting the point. Perhaps this time around they will be able to get some value. Wub gets hacked though. X10 gets that final blow into Wub. Kuffa doesn't get any value with the axe, and that leaves no wound bleed for Kuffa to get healed off of. The hack comes through. Doom kills Yumitra in the backline. That's such a huge pick that doesn't allow Astronex to go that aggressive, but Rift does get the cap. Kuffa falls so low, and X10 with the pulse finishes them off. The pulse is responded by, though, by Doomed. It does whiff Astronex, though. Astronex gets the pick onto Sobek. Doom gets the immediately back with the pick. It's so back and forth. The EMP from Chime ends up getting little value because support line of Timeless and these DPS are still here. Rift slowly coming back, but keep in mind, Rift still have the cap. Exton dancing around to the point, somehow not getting pressured out, but finally the rest of Timeless are back right as Rift comes back, and then Nano onto Exton to go right into the backline, but the beat from Sobek to respond. Kuffa gets hacked. It's gonna disable him from actually walking into them, but finally as that hack ends, he had the opportunity to go in with the ult. Chime gets that kill into Sobek. That's such a bad pick for Timeless. Exton falls so low. Abyss responds with the Kyriel. Astronex stays alive with the Ramatra ult. Doomed gets the stick, but is unable to get value off of it. Timeless used 4 ultimates and absolutely nothing. Rift still in the lead. They still have the cap. Wub decides to invest the overclock as well. This is the longest fight. It's gotta be. And the stick from Exton, so many ults being invested, and they're still trying, but finally Timeless have given up and they back up.
And they use 5 ults. Look at these ult counters right now. None of them are above 50%. Pummy goes down as well. For Rift, they don't have a lot of ults above 50%, but they've got the EMP, and it's last fight territory. What are Timeless going to do when the EMP shows up? I'll tell you what they're going to do. They're going to die. If they can't avoid this EMP, if it catches more than 1, more than 2, it'll be a wrap for Timeless, because, and it'll be so difficult to avoid that because they're all going to be on the point.
Comes out from Pummy, and the Kyriel is, the Kyrie Susan is forced out so early. The EMP is huge, catches 3. Kuffa falls so low, but Doom gets that pick onto Abyss. Kuffa's 1, X10 gets the kill into Sobek, which is gonna leave Timeless unable to move quickly. Doom gets the kill into Astronex, that could keep them into this fight. Doom keeping this fight alive. Pummy dies, getting the Kyriel out, but nonetheless it does go out. Yumitra falls, but Timeless finally are able to get a solid hold back on the point.
That was very, very lucky there for Timeless. Very lucky that the EMP couldn't find any follow-up. And now they have a bit more of a chance. They're coming up on the beat from Yumitra, and X10 has the pulse bomb. If Doomed can find a good pulse bomb, that'll be a good start. And if Rift's beat doesn't work out, then you might see a bit of struggle, but Wub disconnects! Oh, they do get the pause.
His mom shut off the internet, I suppose.
Unfortunate.
That is very unfortunate. Actually, like, very, very unfortunate, because, you know, halfway to an ultimate, it's the last fight. Technical issues suck, but, you know, nonetheless, they happen. But, I mean, this is so back and forth, and like you were saying about that previous fight, K-Wing, Rift, although Chime's EMP was huge, Rift was unable to follow it up. When I saw Pummy use that Suzu on just themselves before the EMP went off to save themselves, I thought that was a wrap on this first point. I thought that was it. But Timeless were able to respond accordingly and essentially trade Sobek's life for the fight win, which was excellently played by Timeless. And their ability to, whether it was on purpose or of course it was on purpose. They're professionals. They've got this. They've lost 5 games in a row, but nonetheless, they know what they're doing for sure. Now, we're going in. Wub is back, thank God. Sobek very low onto the point. The pulse comes out from Doom, doesn't get any value. Asternex falls so low. The beat from Yamitra comes out. They're going to be going so aggressive with that as Chime isn't quite able to get the hack off onto Sobek. Kuffa almost with the ult, which is going to be so huge. Yamitra is unable to have beat still because he used it so early that fight. Asternex says there's Abyss falls though, and Kuffa 1 HP in the backline. Chime so low. Chime gonna have the EMP online though. Can he live to it? Doom gets hacked. Chime takes down Doom, but Chime is able to get out. Sobek so low gets pummeled, but Pummy still alive on top of this point. Wub on the side of the point, but Pummy gets taken down by X10, and somehow, some way, Rift is almost gonna take it if anyone can. Oh, but Kuffa's unable to touch, and the smallest possibility of Timeless winning that point gets strangled out as Rift excellently plays and responds with the lack of ultimates they had going into that fight. That was so well played from Rift.
That was, I mean, that was insane. Just a back and forth that never seemed to end. And now going on to these Ramatra compositions, I'm interested in the differences between Rift with Chime on the Mei versus Timeless with Wub on the Ashe. The Ashe is a lot more of a try and poke out, kind of wait for more your point. And it looks like they're going to be sticking on this Symmetra. So they're gonna.
Oh, never mind.
It's just a delayed swap. I'm not sure exactly what's happening there, but honestly, I do like this composition from Rift a lot better. I think it's a lot more mobile, especially against this composition as they. Oh, XN is stuck in the wall, but it's just able to go in a lot more aggressively. Timeless are just kind of playing a bit of a poke comp.
Yeah, Timeless, their comp is built predominantly for anti-dive, almost an anti-brawl. Wub, although it gets taken down early, Sobek had a nice whip shot onto Chime, which finished him off. Yamitra fell so low, but is able to touch. This is now Rift holding this high ground. Pummy falls so low, but gets taken down a little too out in the open. This is going to be Kuffa just trying to dive fast, I presume, as the cap is on Timeless' side. So dying on point is what you want to do here if you're Timeless. But, I mean, the fight's over.
It feels like whenever Timeless have an opportunity, whenever they have something in their hands, it just seems like Butterfingers and it slips away. Just those little grains of sand keep falling out and they can't hold on to a fight win. And it seems like Rift are able to turn around so immediately as this amplification matrix coming out from Abyss.
Tries to punish Yamitra with a pulse, but doesn't get any value. Kuffa falling so low, kind of out there in his open. They're forced to use the nano, and he's just walking in onto that backline. Chime barely staying up. The beat coming from Yamitra are going to be keeping all of Rift alive and healthy. Exton gets that wonderful pick onto Wub. Sobek needs to respond and does so accordingly with the rally. Kuffa also responds with this ult, and this is such an important fight. So many ults being used by both sides as Chime and Asternex invest. But will their investment come out positive? As so far it is, as Abyss gets that pick on Zoom. And although Timeless had the advantage and had the point cap for a short period of time, it does flip. And the bomb coming out from Wub, I'm assuming either to switch or they thought that they were hard pushing?
I'm a bit mystified on that choice there. The Bob is such a great tool to push in and put pressure onto point, but instead he just gets shoved into a tiny little hallway and not much he can do as X10 with the ult.
Oh, gets taken down by Wub with an excellent shot, mind you, onto Pummy. But this is going to be Timeless barely surviving. This is possibly last fight because they're taking so long. Timeless are stuck in the side room, Rift at 85%. This is gonna be Asternex walking in out of the LOS of the support zone, gets dropped by Kuffa. Asternex does get the pick onto Wub, which isn't gonna allow, but the stick from Doom down to Abyss! That was insane! As Chime now 1 HP on a point, Doomed putting the pressure on a point. Yamitra gets stopped by Sobek! Sobek not even on the Lucio still gets the environmentals.
Oh my gosh, that headshot from Chime, absolutely huge, and it's going to allow for a big recontest to come in onto the 3 members of Timeless on this point. They have the ults to sustain, though. They're going to take a clean fight, Rift. They don't have a lot of ults. It's 3-3 here, even up. And it's really close. You do have the Nano Annihilation for Timeless, but for Rift, you can do whatever. You need just one fight win, and you caught the Ramattra.
No. The wall comes up from Chime, which is so good because it allows the Nano to get blocked, so Pummy can't do it. But Sobek and Pummy put their brains together, but unfortunately, it's just not enough as the Amitra's barrier keeps everyone safe and healthy. Doom does get the touch, but no one else is near. They do get the recalls that are able to live. Will the Blinks be there to be able to retouch? And they're not. And Rift takes the first map against Timeless.
Yeah, Rift taking that first map is a fairly dominant performance. They seemed about as ahead as you could want them to be. And, I mean, we talked about what a shot there. I don't think I've ever seen you remember in Overwatch 1 when the play of the game sometimes had like the titles? I don't think I've ever seen a Brig play of the game getting sharpshooter, but you know what? You see something new every day with Sobek, but that really hurt for Timeless. I mean, for Rift, this is the same story that we had last match, where this team coming from open division, they have a better chance of getting into the top 8. It's not a great chance, mind you, but they have a better chance of getting into the top 8 than our last team did. But honestly, at this point, it's playing spoiler, and it's proving that you can come in a bunch of OD players coming in with the new name, with the new branding. They were formerly called Hive when they were in open division, and coming in and upsetting a Titan of North American contenders, coming in and taking out Timeless, because Timeless, even despite their recent misfortunes, are still feel like they're the big dogs. I mean, it's one of the things that I talked about with their manager right before these matches, and they still feel like they're the big dogs. They still wanted this chance to prove it. And I mean, my message to them is TikTok, time's slipping away, and you can't be Timeless forever. As paradoxical as that sounds, you can't. You gotta get going, because this is not looking good.
I agree. Unfortunately, I mean, we see Rift more or less beating Timeless at their own game. We see Timeless loves playing the brawl. That the Ramattra brawl composition and that monkey kind of soft dive composition. Those are two compositions we see so often from them, and we've seen how good they are at it. But Rift just kind of beat them at their own game there. I mean, even Queen on the first point on Sanctuary, they got more or less rolled. Timeless, we see them like to go on these strings of picking the same maps and the same compositions, and that'll continue. Last map, we saw Timeless pick Nambani against Worldwide, and first they struggled on their defense, but then they dominated at the latter half of the game and their attack. So that being said, they've chosen Nambani again.
And like we were talking about, Numbani is a good dive map. I mean, Timeless, they did seem like they struggled against this Ramattra composition. Maybe it just wasn't their comp. It was what they chose to run against Worldwide, but they struggled a lot against Worldwide, a team that by all metrics, they should be above, but they dropped the map, they dropped the match against them, and now they're trying to stick to this comfort composition, and it's not meta. It's definitely a big part of the meta, so they're trying to pick these maps around it. But this is it's hard here for Timeless because that last match, and that last map as well, was so deflating. You were so close, so just within reach. Turning it around was within reach, and you couldn't pull it off.
We have seen Rift, and even just about the games that they've lost, they do come out on top on those control points, on the Koth maps. So that being said, on the flip side, so far this season, they have only won 2 hybrid maps. Now, I'm not that good at math, but that's not very many.
Ready for battle.
No, it's really not. I mean, it's a struggle. It really is a struggle for both these teams, and this is where it needs to turn around. In these best of 5 series, you cannot afford to go down 2-0. It just makes the reverse sweep the only possibility, and you just can't abide by that. You can't try and live like that, and you're gonna start to run into exhaustion problems when you're talking for Timeless. Coming off of a 5-map series into maybe another 5-map series, exhaustion's gonna set in.
Definitely, and Strix, speaking of which, them winning that previous game, that puts Timeless in the position of they either win this game and they have a small chance, or they lose this game and they have 0 chance and they will be going back to Open Division. So this is their contenders' lives on the line right now, not just playoffs. This is basically their perhaps their careers, if you will. But no need to make it that serious. But unfortunately, as I say that, Sobek falls to a wonderful anti from Abyss. Kuffa does get the trade onto Ymitra though, and that's going to leave Timeless to be able to go for a re-engage and have the upper hand. Chime falls very low, but Abyss once again able to save that back those DPS players. But Astronex a little too deep as Wub gets Wub takes down Astronex. And Doom just kind of stuck over here.
I mean, they're gonna need a recontest eventually, but there's just too many players there to really get a solid recontest. They'll find the reinforcements as Timeless steps back onto the point, but they have no high ground control, and so Pummy and Sobek are just gonna be stuck on the low ground. Yep, Pulse Bomb will be right on target, and it'll clean up Timeless. And Rift, they find those picks, they're ready to re-engage, and that's all she wrote. They're gonna clean up, it looks like, but maybe not. Maybe Timeless has something.
Got nothing. They got air.
No.
Let me tell you, they got air. Just a bit of oxygen. But Timeless, I mean, Timeless are definitely struggling. Rift's DPS are doing so good at playing off of Astronex's ability to spread out the backline of Timeless to make so much space. And Abyss necessarily hasn't even been right with Ymitra all that much. Ymitra's been kind of dead on cooldown, getting dove consistently, but Abyss is still able to survive. And Exton and Chime are doing so good at getting value. Exton getting pulses so quickly. As I say that, Doom gets nanoed. I think it was meant to go on someone else. Wait, sorry. Yeah, no, Doom does get nanoed. Abyss also nanoes Chime. It goes both ways. Kuffa gets anti as he jumps back. Exton wins the duel against Wub. And that's not something you see every day. But nonetheless, Exton popping off this entire match so far. Kuffa gets slept. Where does they go for the primal? Sobek almost has the rally online, and that's going to be the saving grace as Ymitra uses theirs. Rift still plenty of ults online. Timeless struggling to even keep up their health right now.
Yeah, and I mean, with Timeless, they're just going to have to deal with so many of these ults. Even denying the value from this Poppy won't help them because there's 2 Winstons! There's 2 Wintons!
Wintone! There's too many Wintone. Timeless can't take that much Wintone. Kuffa's a good Wintone, but not against 2 Wintone. Now Rift gonna be looking to get the cap, but that means Timeless have to force as they do.
Reset the counter. Reset the counter. I know it's already at 0 because of last game, but it is now again at 0.
Oh, same map, same point. Anywho, Timeless gonna be moving on to the third point now, strategically. Rift still with that ult advantage. Abyss falling low in the backline. We see Doomed go for the flank again. Wub with the double sticky. And that's going to be absolutely fight-changing. Sobek getting the kill onto Yamitra, which is huge. Doomed getting the outgoing pick onto Astronex. Wub showing up. And we see these absolutely amazing plays from individuals on this team. K-Wing, we need to see the team fight.
Yeah, we need to see the team come into its own. That's a great start, but a big ant. He's going to really delay this team. Rift are playing so incredibly... Timeless are playing so incredibly aggressively on this defense, and the Nano's not going to find any value.
Huffa, all he can do is stare at him from a distance and make a funny face. Wub does get that pick onto Chime, though. Exton, with the pulse, was going to look at Kuffa, but Kuffa luckily jumped out. Whether he knew it or not, the eye of the tiger was on him. Wub, playing a bit aggressive, does back up a bit, Doomed above the point. Perhaps Exton going to go early, and Astronex as well, going to go early with the Nano. Abyss actually walking forward to look for the sleep onto Kuffa. The rally comes out from Yamitra as the Nano is also coming out from Rift onto Astronex. He's going very aggressive, jumping in and bubbling, blocking the sleep from Pummy. Wub falls from Abyss's hands. Dooms gets that trade. Sobek says this fight's not over and hits the rally as Astronex is forced out as the healing is not there for Rift, but Chime dubs it winnable. It goes for the EMP. It forces Doom to back up. Doom most likely gonna have to use his ult, but he decides not to and just reset. Timeless got so split that fight.
That was quite the expensive fight from Rift, though. They used all 5 ults really, really quickly there, and they're gonna have nothing for about a minute and a half unless they can find some big pick. It's gonna be all Timeless for the next 2 fights, and it might just start here.
Wub just barely missing the pulse, but nonetheless, Abyss goes down, but Chime gets the pick onto Yummy. That leaves no support in the backline for Rift as Wub gets the pick onto Yamitra. Wub again onto Astronex. Kuffa in the backline just kind of playing with their food, I suppose. But does eventually finish off Astronex.
Yeah, and Rift doesn't get close to a lot of ults, and Pummy does get close to that Nano. So again, it's Timeless with this advantage. You want to see them take a quick fight with the Nano because they know the CMP is not up, and just take an early fight and try and build up to a rally to the Primal Rage, especially to try and disrupt and try and keep this ult advantage going. And there you go. There's the Nano.
The Nano enables Kuffa to go forward, dives onto the Chime, who has his out, but Doomed gets the pick onto Exton, which is huge, and it forces Rift to back up as they're already forced into this small room.
Forces them right in that small room, and I mean, they didn't get a lot of ults charged up to completion, so Rift has this Rift have the EMP, they have the Pulse Bomb, and they have the Nano, and Sobek doesn't get to the rally. They're really far away from it. They're going to have the Pulse Bomb if Wub doesn't die, that is, and they're going to have the Primal Rage, but against an EMP, it's going to be very scary, especially with the Nano coming in.
Oh no, Kuffa gets instantly taken down by the good EMP from Chime, cuts him off from the rest of his team. The pulse from Wub gets nothing. We've seen so much good, but the last 2 pulses have been so useless. Wub needs to start showing up or else Rift is going to cap. This is last fight as there's only 30 seconds left. Sobek dies so early from getting dove in the backline. Doom getting forced into the spawn. Doomed feeling a deep sensation of Doom. As Astronex literally in spawn. Kuffa going to go for the contest with the Primal Rage as Doomed falls from the ceiling onto the Copy Monkey. Gets instantly taken out though. So much damage coming in from Rift and Abyss at that. The Nano comes out from Pummy onto Kuffa, enabling him to go deep. Yamitra falls early. That's so good for them. Exton on the point of sleep gets instantly taken down from the Sobek and Kuffa combo. Wub getting the Abyss and the Astronex on the side of Rift. And that is gonna be the hold from Timeless, denying Rift a full capping from Bonnie.
That's a good start. That's a... The only thing I can say is it's a good start. You have your golden box of victory. You have your opportunity to push through, to even this up, and you can take it. You can absolutely see Timeless evening up, but it seemed like these... I think one of the things I've been noticing for the last, like, 6 maps, Timeless's fights have been incredibly scrappy. And there are times it works in their favor. There are times where they get the picks, and, you know, they lose a few people, but they get the picks. And they've just... It seems like every single fight is a struggle, is a... Just... They're bringing this in from the brink, and they can't keep doing that. They really just can't. They need to not... They need to have less scrappy fights. Is the best way that I can say it. Coming out on the mirror composition, I just want to see better target focus, and I really want to see these guys being safe, a little bit safer when they go in, because they can't be getting caught out. Because if you get a pick and get taken out, you're not going to win many fights.
Seeing time and time again, Abyss actually shutting down Doomed, which is kind of wild. Exton gets such an early kill onto Wub. 30 seconds in, and Timeless are already forced to take a step back and just live. That is their only imperative right now, is they live long enough to build Nano, perhaps, even though Abyss is over halfway to it already, and Pummy's not even a quarter of the way there, or a third of the way. It's so scary for Timeless as you're forced to go slow. Kuffa goes in, but is forced to jump out and use the bubble, falls so low. Chime just playing this corner, falling pretty low. Doom tries to get the finishing blow. Is unable to as Chime gets out. Doom falls so low. Exton gets the kill to Pummy as the dive is so successful from Chime. And this is just messy, K-Wing.
I mean, there's no other word for it. Timeless were trying to play slow and get poked out and charge up their Nano, and that is a good strategy. That is how a lot of teams will play this. But they don't charge up the Nano faster than the defending team. Abyss charges the Nano a full 30% ahead of anything that Timeless can. And so now Rift are coming in with such a huge advantage, and Timeless are just on the back foot.
Insane save from Umitra onto Abyss, and Astronex takes down Sobek so early as Chime uses the copy, but really nothing else is going to have to be used, but they're kind of getting shoved in a locker there. Kuffa does take down Astronex. That makes it so Timeless is going to be at least somewhat safe for the time being. Kuffa so low in that little room waiting for the Mega, but Chime smells blood. Doomed is there to save him, but even Doom fails. Kuffa falls so low. Chime is 1 HP. Kuffa kills Chime. That's a bit of a blunder from Chime. A bit of a too much fun moment, perhaps.
Ooh, that's a touch. That's what we in the tennis community call an unforced error. It's going in a bit too aggressive. And now Timeless, they do have all 5 of their ultimates. This is where they need to start winning, but they cannot invest too much, and they're going to start in with a big 3 investment. They can't use anything more.
Insanely good juggle to get Abyss off to the side as Wub gets that final blow. Astronex goes so deep into the backline as the stick comes through from Exton. It denies the copy and kills Sobek. The pulse from Wub gets absolutely nothing. Sobek with the rally dies, and Astronex does get forced out. However, the rest of Timeless is trickling down, and we're going into one fight territory. Timeless have one fight to prove themselves on their own map choice.
And they lose Wub immediately. Sobek has the rally, and that's the only ult on the field. They need to go in fast. They need to go in before Abyss can charge up this Nano or Chime can charge up this duplicate. And they need to use that overhealth to get some aggression, to get some picks, to take out Abyss, to take out Chime, and to start this cart moving. Otherwise, it might just be all over. It might be Jover. Oh, Puppy dies!
Chime gets the early pick onto Chummy after Kuffa kind of just up and leaves the team trying to make space. Doesn't necessarily leave, as that is what he's supposed to do. He's Monkey, but nonetheless, he does split himself up as someone has to touch here. But with Pummy now switching on, oh, I don't even know if anyone's gonna make it. K-Wing, they do get the touch. Sobek is gonna have the rally online, which could be the game changer here. But Chime and Abyss with the Nano and the copy. The Nano looking to be used as Sobek drops to 1 HP. The bubble, it doesn't quite there to end it off. But Kuffa kills Abyss. That's such a big pick, but Pummy falls, and the trade is back and forth. Doom gets the copy onto the Tracer to be able to stay alive for a bit longer. Probably get a fast pulse. Xen falls low, but does have the recall. Sobek falls because they're trying to duel it. I mean, K-Wing, this is just unfortunate. This is just sad. It's just Timeless is struggling. The fight is over. The map is lost, and it's just suffering, despair, hopelessness,
Pain.
adjectives.
Pain. Oh, man. Oh, Timeless. It's not looking good. This is quite the struggle against Rift now. And down 2-0, you have one last map pick. Even if you win it here, even if you start the turnaround, you have to win 2 Rift map picks. 2 of them.
And K-Wing,
that's a tough choice. That's a tough choice.
That alone is tough. But then add on to the fact that Rift has players on the bench right now that are absolutely insane. You have Sugu, a DPS player who's known for their snipers. You have, and Tracer at that. And then you have Hanbei. Hanbei is such a huge name, and they're benched. And so you go to something like Circuit Royale, you're going to have an insane lineup of Abyss Hanbei for the backline, if they so choose. I mean, that alone is scary. And you mix that with Timeless struggling, and Timeless does like, they like Circuit, so that could be that possibility. But even if it's not, I mean, what are they going to go that's going to play into their favor? Because they're not looking good on any of their compositions right now. We've seen them look so good on the dive. They failed miserably at that, K-Wing. We saw them, I mean, maybe a bit of sparks on that defense, but the attack was none. Zip, zero, nada. Absolutely nothing. And then, on the first map, Busan, we saw the Brawl comps come out, but Rift just absolutely running them over, and progressively more so as the map went on. If I'm Timeless, my mental is absolutely shattered. Not only have I lost 5 games in a row, but I'm now down 2-0 to another bottom 4 team.
Yeah, and at this point for Timeless, I feel like you have to just have one of the most incredible sports movie halftime pep talks ever. So, I mean, here's the thing. Backs up against the wall here. This is the last chance for Timeless. They can't lose. They have one map to show us that they belong still in contenders, that they don't deserve relegation.
Okay,
even if Hyper, even if they do it, there's still a lot more to go. But they've got one map. They got to treat this one map like it is their last, because it darn well could be their last map, still in contention for the playoffs.
And K-Wing, as we head into this Escort map, the map Timeless has chosen, Escort, Gibraltar. If you're the coach of Timeless, if you're Trisum, what do you say to them?
If you had one shot, one chance, would you take it? Because you got one shot left. You got one chance here. And if you can't take it, if you can't finish it off, there are people in line who will.
Yeah, I mean, we saw...
That's the only thing I can say to Timeless right now. You gotta take your chance. You got to leave it all out in this lobby right now, because this is your last shot for the Summer Series. Your last shot. Your last chance.
Like, they have another game, sure, but that game, really, in the grand scheme of getting into playoffs, it means little to nothing. So we need to see Timeless. If there was ever a time for them to truly be timeless, now is the time, for sure. I mean, it's always the time. We saw Timeless go from a fun team to watch in those West Overwatch League games to struggling in bottom of contenders. I mean, whatever's going on in the innards of Timeless, if you're the management, if you're the coaching staff, if you're the players, you gotta question a bit what's going on. Now, for the first time today, we are seeing Timeless change up their roster. Pummy is out, and Scuffed is coming back in. No switches for Rift, like we were saying, Sugu and Hanbei on the bench. I mean, those are some insane bench warmers, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But having Scuffed come back in here, what are you thinking with this? Are you thinking like, all right, Pummy, did Pummy say, guys, like, get the whole gang back together, like, put me out, put Scuffed back in. You guys have been playing with Scuffed for longer. Or are you the management, the coaching of Timeless, and go, no, Pummy, you're not doing too hot. Scuffed, get in there, give it a go. I mean, because neither one of those seem like a good option. If you've been playing with Pummy all day and for who knows how many scrims the past week, why go back to Scuffed just for such an important map?
That's the question. Scuffed, a lot of pressure on his shoulders here, needing, not just wanting, needing to put on a good performance, to put on something to show that Timeless are still here, that they're still at the top of the totem pole, that they're still the big dogs. They're playing with the edge here. They're trying to play a little bit more for the poke. And I do appreciate that. I do think that's pretty interesting. And Chime on the Hanzo is also an interesting choice, as Rift going to be attacking first, looking to set a really aggressive start and looking to send Timeless into open division playoffs. Here we go.
Kuffa doing the thing they wanted to do the very first time. Go for that early jump to try and stuff them in there, get a bit of extra damage, but he actually falls to 1 HP. There are no LOS right now that supports, but he does get out safe. Astronex takes the bridge. Wub playing this very slow, very methodical, perhaps negative damage being done to the Ashes at this kind of range. But Doomed goes to put some pressure on it. Kuffa still holding this cart, but falling very low, playing very aggressive, trying to hold the cart, trying to give Wub the space to do some damage, get some good dynamites in. Cart slowly being pushed by Chime. Both supports on Rift side, on the high ground. That leaves Kuffa the ability to dive if they so wanted to, but Astronex does it first. It leaves Timeless's supports hunkering down back in the server room. Wub falls very low, does get taken back up by the newly subbed in Scuffed, almost with the Nano. We do see some bright spots here, whether it's because Timeless is feeding or Scuffed is just doing good. Yamitra on this high ground does force Kuffa to back up a bit, as well as the anti. Wub and Co in server room still just kind of chilling. They vibing.
They sure are, and Scuff now has this Nano, but they're gonna get dove on top of, and the Nano has to go in onto the trees to protect them. Oh, but the pulse bomb. No.
Overwatch walks into Doomed, and they fall out with a whimper. I mean, they... Lacufa strikes again.
Wow. Oh, man. That's just unlucky there for Timeless. And now they're coming into this fight on that airplane, and they don't have the time to take an aggressive position. They don't have the time to really take full control of even second point. And the anti!
The primal from Kuffa keeps him alive, but the nano was so early onto Astro that he went so deep so easily, mind you. I mean, it's Kuffa just dying on point. He knows the fight's over. Both supports from Rift used. Astronex didn't even have to primal. Timeless, I'm gonna be honest, K-Wing, it feels like Timeless have given up. Now, they're a contenders team. They're never going to actually give up and, like, sit and spawn. But the mentality that's gone on, it just feels hopeless. They're trying these different things. They're trying to walk on right side. Now Wub gets taken down by Exton. Exton dominating Wub like it's TF2, getting killed 4 times plus in a row. Time and time again. Kuffa jumps onto Exton. Does get taken down, but no supports for Timeless. They both fallen. Doom trying to stay alive in this corner. Goes to grab the mini Chime right there to meet him, though. Scuff does heal up Doomed, but at the time now, it's Sobek switching onto the Curie, something we really haven't seen, just to try and get the touch, try and stall for as long as possible. Scuff staying alive for as long as possible, but it's just not long enough. 4.5 minutes, K-Wing.
Dominant is a word we throw around a lot. 4.5 minutes. This is one time where I say the time bank does not tell the whole story here. This time bank does not tell how hopeless it does feel for Timeless. They're struggling so much, and they're putting in all this pressure, and they cannot seem to find anything as Kuffa goes down.
Chime does fall as well, though, by the hands of Wub, which means that Rift has to be extra cautious of if they go aggressive, if they even will. Because if I'm Timeless, or sorry, excuse me, if I'm Rift, I don't. Neither of these teams have the resources to go aggressive without the Kuffa and without the Chime. The pulse comes through from Doom, does get nothing, unfortunately. This leaves Rift with the advantage going into this fight with these ults online. Kuffa falls to 1 HP, gets nanoed as he jumps back onto the high ground. He is in the corner with an Abyss. I don't know if you want to be in the corner with a Primal Monkey Abyss, but Yamitra is there to save them with the nano boost and the rally. The whip shot, I suppose, hammer in that nail. As Kuffa jumps into the backline, gets Abyss to very low HP, but does get healed by Yamitra. Once again, Yamitra showing up and proving why they're winning this game. Each and every one of these players from Rift proving their worth, proving that they should be here. They should be winning this game. They should be doing better in contenders. And we could see that as we see Chime take out Wub. We're seeing Wub, a player who used to be in Overwatch League, get dominated by this newcomer, X10 and Chime. It's just not something you would see often, as Kuffa once again gets stuck, jumps away, like the fadeaway, Kuffa. And it's just X10 getting another pick onto Doom, and it's just, I mean, they're spawn camping. I mean, Rift is literally just in their spawn, trying to deny them space. It's not really a BM thing, it's just Watchpoint Gibraltar things.
Yeah, it really is. And oh, the Primal Raid right into the backline as well. It's just Rift pushing in so aggressively. Any picks they find are going to be devastating, and they'll seal the deal potentially for this final attack. With 2 minutes on the clock, Astronex has the ult. There goes the pick, and eventually the resistance on the cart will break down, and Rift will finish the map with 1 minute and 54 seconds on the clock. Finishing an escort map is one thing. Finishing an escort map with nearly 2 minutes on the clock is terrifying.
We've seen Timeless get absolutely rolled through first and second point, and then when it comes to third point, they put on a show and they stomp and they hold it for 4+ minutes. We saw that in the last match against Worldwide. We saw Timeless do that twice but now, I mean, it's just a whole lot of nothing. Timeless really didn't even put up a fight there. We're seeing them struggle in the most simple regroups. We're seeing them make sloppy, silly mistakes, and we're seeing Rift do a phenomenal job of taking advantage of that.
Completely agree. Rift is capitalizing so incredibly well, and they're showing us why even their small chance of staying in is fueling them, driving them to keep moving forward and to keep pressing through.
Agree. Is doing I mean, they're doing a phenomenal job just through the means. These are so many players who are unproven. We haven't really seen before. We saw them come up through contenders maybe last season, maybe this season, and they're finally getting their shot, and they're putting up with Timeless as Yamitra with a nasty whip shot onto Wub. It holds Timeless back. Rift doing I mean, the positioning here, holding this high ground, doing a phenomenal job of just staying still, staying put, being patient, not forcing anything. Doomed pressuring Cart as Astronex does try and get the touch. Kuffa falls pretty low. Wub looking to do a Wub head and get those picks, and Yamitra goes for the pick, but a nasty shot from Wub. Seeing Wub hit some nasty shots again, that's what you like to see. Now let's continue seeing Wub do it.
Yeah, that's what you like to see, but you're going to need to see a lot more of it, but that's a great start to take out Astronex, and this card's going to keep on rolling with some resistance getting broken through.
Oh, no. There's just nothing.
No.
There's just nothing Kuffa could have done there. He stood still. He did his job. Wub just so happened to be falling. It's so unlucky, but a great pulse nonetheless from Chime. Xen actually falling pretty low, but it's going to have the bomb online soon. Does get saved by that backline. Abyss and Yamitra, they've been absolutely popping off this game. There is no other way to put it. The nades, like, I was going to say like that, but that was one of those Scuff popping off. But the nano comes onto Xen to keep them alive, them alive, excuse me. Kuffa just, I mean, this is true peak primal rage right here. Just chilling in the corner. Unfortunately, for Timeless, Chime exists. And Chime and Yamitra are just finishing them out. 2 minutes left on the clock for Timeless. They finally are gonna have their Brig ult online, their Wub ult online, if you will.
Yeah.
But how do they play into this?
Yeah, I mean, they did get a really good start there. They got a really good anti-nade from Abyss onto both the supports of Timeless, which engaged, which allowed a lot of aggression, and they're scuffed. Both these Anas are doing incredibly well with these anti-nades, although Rift just really bringing the follow-up, really dishing out the damage, knowing the resources that this just forces out. A good anti-nade can do so much, as there's the Dragon Strike from Wub. Can they find a pick?
Wub doing their absolute best. Does fall to low HP as Kuffa kills Astronex. Kuffa dives onto Xen, trying to force Xen out, but the Bob doing heavy damage to Kuffa. Kuffa struggling to live. Wub does take down that Bob. Quite rude to kill Bob like that. Wub, the life draining out of his eyes as he burns alive. Doomed on the point, trying to force it. Kuffa does get to go aggressive, takes down Xen. Xen, although all the work they've been putting in, does finally fall, as does Astronex. Chime does a little last second touch, but it is going to be Timeless showing some sparks of life, capping first point, and Timeless actually taking quite a bit of space now.
Yeah, that's exactly what they need to do. They need to take the space. They cannot let themselves get stuck in the muck that is second point, watch point, but they've lost their Ana.
I don't know if Sobek and Scuffed got a little split or what happened, but Wub says it's not over yet and gets a nice shot onto Xen, like we've seen again, but he does get dove. The pack comes in from across the map, though, from Sobek. Finally, Doomed with a stick onto Yamitra. That's huge. And they're finally going to have the opportunity to walk in as Kuffa does get forced to Primal to stay alive, but nonetheless does get. I mean, it's a Kuffa and Doom show for that fight.
It sure was, and they do have the opportunity with that nano boost to push forward a little more and to get through point B, but with how short of a time that they have on the bank, they're not going to be able to equal up to Rift's time. They just need to finish at this point. Time bank be darned. What a shot!
The nano gets wasted by Abyss. It actually goes onto Astronex as he dies. And then Wub is absolutely... Wub's just doing Wubbington things once again! As the nasty shot onto Abyss! Wub's just showing off. This is insane shots from Wub. I mean, Rift can pop off, and then Wub can do that.
Yeah, that... I didn't even know that there was an Ana there, but Wub was already headshotting them. Like, incredible skill performance, and it's just an incredible upside to Timeless. When they click, boy oh boy do they click, and they're starting to get into it now. They're starting to click. Can they keep it going? It looks like a good pick.
Chime tries to go for the pulse, but gets taken down immediately after he whiffs it by Doomed. Doomed going for their own pulse now, but unfortunately just barely misses. But Wub uses that distraction as an opportunity to kill Abyss. I need to know Wub's stats because this is insane. As Wub's dragon goes straight into the spawn of Rift and takes down Astronex. Timeless just over 2 minutes right now, about to cap the point. Rift have one final push. Scuffed almost has the nano. The nano is going to be needed here if Timeless want to cap this with possibly more time on the bank. Kuffa almost with their ultimate. Yamitra and the Bob comes out. It's going to be Rift trying to push up, Timeless trying to stabilize. As Timeless know they can't win a fight against a Bob and a Rally. Timeless just standing back in this corner. And Kuffa goes in for the deep dive. Immediately gets nanoed. I mean, his eyes are set on Exton as he goes for the Primal. The insane early juggle takes down Exton. He's shoving both of the supports in the spawn, disallowing Astronex to get any type of healing. But the sleep comes out from Abyss, which is insane at denying Kuffa from getting anywhere value. But he's awoken, and he is now looking for blood, but does get antied as Sobek and Kuffa both fall.
X10.
Falls. X10 on the Bastion coming from spawn. The flick on the Doom. The insane change last second. Oh my God, K-Wing.
What? I mean, such an unexpected swap from X10, switching on to the Bastion. The last-minute desperation attempt to keep this from going to extra rounds, to get Rift the 3-0 victory. It's exactly what they wanted, and it's exactly what the doctor ordered.
X10 saw what Wub was doing and said, well, I can do that too, and decided that he was going to do just that. Chime with the pulse. I mean, Rift have so many of these fantastic ults online, and they just need to get a slight amount of value. The time is trickling down. 35 seconds left for Timeless to cap, or they're done. Their contenders' dreams are over, and then X10 does it again on the Wub. The change onto the Hanzo pays off, and the pulse from Doom gets nothing. 20 seconds left. Chime whiffs as well, though. This leaves Abyss and Astronex's ult in dire need to get value. Sobek almost with the rally. They're going to need it when Astronex goes in for this dive here against the Nano. 10 seconds left. Someone is going to have to touch to keep their contenders' hopes alive for Timeless.
Sobek?
The nanoed backline is insane as Sobek gets dropped 2% away. Astronex in the backline with the nano help from Abyss. This is it. This is Timeless's hopes, dreams, the life burning away from their eyes. And that's it. That is Timeless winning 0-3 against Rift. And I believe, statistically, that leaves Timeless back down to Open Division.
That it does. In the document we were given of all the possibilities.
Oh my God, that juggle, though.
Required, I tell you. A, Strix to lose 2 of 3. And it required Timeless to beat Rift. And it also required Dragon Dance and Worldwide to lose 1. So I think with that, unless Dragon Dance and Worldwide lose 1, I think that might be two separate points, but
Nah,
from what it looks like here, from what it looks like, it's very, very unlikely. Timeless sitting at 3-7, especially losing to Rift, is devastating. They can't do it. They just can't. Thankfully, Rift did, I think, as well lose, or not Rift. I think Strix as well lost. So
against
they
Afterlife.
might still have a chance here. If I think if they get the win against, it would require a big Rift loss and a timeless win. Um, oh no, with the map differential, I don't even know if they can do it.
Yeah,
I think they could do it
although
if Rift gets 3-0'd and timeless 3-0.
although some differing news, um, with these group stages for Contender Summers, we do have confirmed people that are moving on to playoffs. O3 Splash, Saints, Wisp, Pirates and Pajamas, and Afterlife. Afterlife, after such a rough start, are now confirmed and will be in the playoffs no matter what. Those 5 teams, I mean, that's phenomenal. By the looks of it, the teams that still have a shot, as far as I can tell, yeah, the teams that still have a shot are Good Boys, Amplify, Timeless, Rift, and Strix. Mind you, those teams, those 5, I mean, the stars have to align for Timeless to stay in. And sorry, for Timeless to have the opportunity. But we've seen these teams dogfight back and forth, and with this unfortunate streak of losses that Timeless has gone through, and the come to power that Rift has seen after such a hard early season. I mean, Rift. I know I'm a caster, right? I know I'm supposed to remain unbiased, but I'm very excited to see Rift in the playoffs if they can get there. Fingers crossed they can get there from here. Although I'd much rather Timeless because I'm totally a Timeless caster. But
Yeah.
I digress. It's so unfortunate for Timeless, but I mean, amazingly done by Rift. Absolutely phenomenal. Exton, Chime, Abyss, Yamitra, Asternex, every single one of them not only had their pop-off moment, but had their key team play moments. Yamitra was so good at keeping Abyss up. Abyss at keeping Yamitra up. Abyss's nanos and antis and hitting some nut sleeps. Asternex making the room for Exton to hit some insane shots. And Chime to follow up. I mean, we saw Chime on the Echo, the Tracer, and I believe the Sombra, and each and every one of them doing so much work. I mean, just so impressive from Rift.
Truly impressive. An incredible, incredible showing. And I completely agree. I mean, I first casted Rift when they were Hive in NA contenders. They are in NA contenders in NA Open Division in their semifinals match. I'm so flabbergasted to see a team that I saw in Open Division going into contenders, feeling like the outsider, feeling like the team going up against these Titans, and to not only hold your own, but to slay many of these Titans is an incredible start. Rift, they're playing with house money now, and they are definitely a dark horse to go a few rounds in that bracket stage in the playoffs if they should be able to make it, because they are still not confirmed for it. But I mean,
They're getting
with
closer.
that,
With that
yeah,
win, they
yeah,
and it's although it sucks for Timeless, the Contenders team, the Timeless Broadcasting Project, that what what allows us to give these games to you and to show off these talented players that you might not have seen because of the limited amount of broadcasting that is put on for some of these contenders matches. You know, the people behind it, the producers, the talent,
Mhm.
absolutely everybody, the observers, the OBS teams, everybody puts in so much work and effort. And as of now, it's completely volunteer. But you can help. If you wanna donate, it all goes to the production staff and talent. ViteRamen.com/pages/timeless. Exclamation mark
Yeah.
donate in the chat as well.
Yeah, and we aren't affiliated with Blizzard here, and we're not just sitting here asking you to PayPal us $5. You know, we're asking you to go to viteramen.com and order some delicious ramen, order a really cool looking timeless keychain. It feels very weird to say, but I think I might order that keychain myself. A little hourglass on your key ring to always remind you of Tier 2 Overwatch wherever you go, because who doesn't want that? And all the proceeds go to funding this project, funding some of the best casters, some of the best observers, some of the best producers in Tier 3, giving us the experience of casting contenders and making a little money while we're at it. So we thank you so much for watching. We thank you so much for going to Vite Ramen and uh, getting some delicious noodles and getting some money into the hardworking pockets of the people like us on the stream and the wonderful people off the stream. Thank you so much to them, to our producer, Little Joe, to our observers who did such a great job. Thank you so much. And that's it for us. We'll see you tomorrow for the last games of Contenders, and we'll see who punches their ticket into the bracket stage. But until then, make sure you hit that heart button to never miss the action, and we will see you all tomorrow. Have a good night, y'all.
Bye.